Hey, hey, hey. Look like we live.
Yes,
What up,
sir.
y'all?
In a second over here, everybody. Give them a little second to pop in while we running. In 7 minutes, they should be ready. They should be ready. You know what I'm saying? We got right now, as you see, when if you do start watching later, you'll see our pick right there. Saturdays at 7 p.m. Come join us. You know what I mean? You can watch it on Twitter, Facebook, or YouTube. Well, actually, I think I ain't put it on Twitter right now because my Twitter don't be banging. They don't mess with me on Twitter that much. But you can check it out right now on the Facebook page, Thawed Magazine Facebook page. You can check it out on Sports Talk page. Man, say what's the word, bro? Uh, say Facebook user. We can't see you on the comment. If you can't put your name in there or let us know. While we know who you are, we can address you and show you a shout out. We appreciate y'all. So I'm gonna go ahead and take that banner down. But that's Saturdays at 7. Check us out on that day on Saturdays. And I'm gonna show one more for Tuesdays. For Tuesdays, we got that coming up with Little Rock, Arkansas's own, Pinky the Dime. Again, you can watch that on multiple sites, especially Facebook and YouTube mostly. It's gonna be shared to other places. So y'all definitely keep an eye out for that. And we got more lined up. We got special guests coming next Saturday and the following Saturday after that. So definitely keep messing with us. So we appreciate y'all.
Yes, sir.
Without without further ado, what's good with your jail?
Man, not a thing. Just kicking back. Watching a little playoff football today. Well, it ain't playoff, but it's getting close to the playoffs. So just watching some Saturday NFL football, I should say.
Yeah, yeah. Who I seen Kansas City was trailing right now. I seen that one. Who I don't even
Yeah,
know who else was playing. I didn't even get to check it out. I was
that's
checking out
been
some
the
other things.
that's been the first one. I think it's the second one coming on after
Yeah.
them. They in the fourth quarter now.
Yeah, they
Um,
losing. Ain't 21-17, something like that.
Yeah, Denver just fumbled. Kansas City got a scoop and score. So
Oh yeah.
that's how Kansas City went right back up. But Denver been
Oh
playing good. They've been playing good, so
yeah. Yeah, they
should be
trying.
a good finish.
I don't think Kansas City gonna have an easy road this year.
Oh no, no, not at all.
It's gonna be a struggle. So, it's some good games gonna be coming on. And I think a lot of people waiting to see what Tom Brady gonna do. You got the whole drama with Antonio Brown uh, right before the playoffs at that.
Right.
So that's going to be an interesting dynamic to see how they handle that. I think it ain't no question if he pull off a Super Bowl during this time, there's no question to go at 40 some years old with drama going on. I know he's from
Yeah,
Michigan and everything, but I even go if he
yeah,
do this.
yeah. Yeah. If he can pull this one off, that'll be something amazing. He got some challengers though. I think Aaron Rodgers over there gonna have
Yeah.
something to say. Uh, so it should be a good playoff season.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's probably one of the most interesting, especially quarterback wise, with dynamics. You got Aaron Rodgers, you got Matt Stafford, you got Tom Brady. You know what I'm saying? Mahomes. Man, you got some quarterbacks out there right now, leading their teams, and it's going. Nobody want to lose. Them are some guys that don't want to lose.
Right, for
And then
sure.
you got Stafford. Everybody watching Stafford. You got the Lions. Lay out a certain fraction of Lions fans waiting for that fun, that tumble. It
I,
ain't gonna help our
yeah,
draft status.
right. I don't I don't get it. I guess that they feel like if he lose, then they can say that see, like he wasn't the solution here. Like
That ain't.
that don't add up though. So like,
Yeah, I gotta let them feel. I ain't gonna single out one person, but you, we go at it with Tony Jefferson for sure. And I know T. Lee feel that way. I know if
oh
y'all
yeah,
watching, go on put them comments in because it's still sports talk. We still gonna talk that talk. So
Right,
go
right.
ahead. Well, we got 6 viewers with us, man. We appreciate everybody rocking with us. It's Thawed Magazine Sports Talk Live. So go ahead, drop a comment, leave a name, man, because when they go on YouTube or sites like that, they don't see it. So if you want your name in there, we can shout y'all out and say what's up, man. Appreciate y'all.
For sure, for sure.
Yeah. What other news you got? We're kicking into the NFL season a little more, but it's been some interesting news too in the sports game. Of course, you got Antonio Brown. I posted in Sports Talk about the analyst speaking on Kevin Porter Jr.'s dad. You got the Big Ten having the 3 top leading scorers, which the Big Ten ain't known for that.
Right.
So
You don't see that. We usually have
nah,
maybe one. We'll have one, but
yeah,
yeah, to have 3 is kind of
three.
that's different.
Exactly. And plus the schools they from, you got what? Iowa, Illinois, and Wisconsin, I think it
Right.
was.
Yeah, I could see Illinois. They play a little bit up tempo, but and I would do to some degree, but not Wisconsin for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. So it's kind of it's weird. Either they need to score that much for their team and the team ain't got as much firepower or they balling. That's all I can say.
Yeah, got to be something to it.
Yeah.
I can't say that I've watched a whole bunch of Wisconsin basketball or Iowa. Or seen a couple Illinois games, but yeah, it's probably a necessary thing for those teams. So I don't know if they're that good. So
Uh-oh. Yeah.
you probably got a situation where you got your best player that's high usage. Like he got to take a lot of the shots. Clock
Yeah.
running down. Somebody got to make a play. You know what I mean? So
Hold on. Give me 1 second. Go ahead, talk right quick. Let me cut
okay,
this off right
what
there.
up, y'all? While he step away, just want to kick it with y'all, man. What's going on with y'all? Anybody watching playoff football?
Yeah, my bad, bro. I had the TV going on a little too loud and wasn't no sports going on it.
For sure. Yeah. Um, but yeah, man. Yeah, a few things going on out there in the sports world. My way, you got the hardball talk that's going on. Which
Wow. That
you
that
know,
I'm glad you brought that up because that's an interesting one right there. That whole dynamic, man, is interesting. So, could you explain it for any of the Michigan fans on here right now about the dynamic in Harbaugh? And I don't think it's Harbaugh being selfish or greedy or none of that. And I'm a Harbaugh critic, but I
right.
actually think it's for a good cause for him of what he's fighting against the school. So could you explain that dynamic more for the Michigan fans about the NIL and that whole situation?
Yeah, for sure. So, of course, the season just ended. As it stands right now, Harbaugh isn't one of the highest paid coaches in the league. So, after the season that we had, just winning the Big Ten, making it to the playoff, he's pretty much due for an upgrade. They're going to redo his contract, but he also has some NFL interests as well. So, you got both things working right now. So it's kind of a tug of war, kind of a I think he's leveraging his position as he
Mm-hmm.
should. I mean, if you can criticize him for not beating Ohio State and not winning the Big Ten and not doing those things, like the other side of that coin is when it happens, you know what I mean? That adds value. So that's the
Mm-hmm.
position that he's in right now. So you got the Raiders out there that are, they're throwing some money at him. It's expected that the Chicago Bears are going to throw an offer at him as well. And probably, you're going to have, on Black Monday, you're going
Oh
to
yeah,
have a
I have
bunch
some
of
openings.
NFL teams that fire their coaches, and he'll probably get maybe a couple more offers from somewhere. So you got all that working, and the thing that's working against Michigan right now is the fact that their NIL program isn't up to par when it comes to the teams that he's expected to compete against. You talking
Yeah,
about
yeah.
Ohio State. talking about Alabama, Michigan State. You know, you talking about the
and
big
and
boys.
and to even add on to that, Texas A&M, which if people don't understand the NIL program and how it's going, I think Texas A&M is one of the most beneficial program to it right now because I think they got the number one ranked class. I think they done added like five stars, and it's Texas A&M, which I haven't seen that. I
Yeah,
mean,
well, they got some big money down there.
so the
And
NIL, yeah, the NIL is really gonna
yeah,
benefit. That's Texas. So if Texas get the bumping that NIL, it's a lot of schools gonna have trouble because you still got the Longhorns with bread to spare.
yeah, for
uh,
sure.
yeah,
And yeah, Texas A&M doing their thing. Like I want to say it's 24/7 that says that
said
they
oil
have their
money
highest rated class ever
ever,
according to
ever.
their according to their service.
It's the first time
Like
I seen them doing it.
ridiculous.
Yeah, yeah, it was the first time it jumped off when I said not Alabama, not Clemson, not Georgia, not even Baylor, who got money. You know what I mean? And Baylor, I think will get up in there too, because
Oh
they
yeah,
basketball already in there, money
yeah,
wise. So you can expect a lot of Texas teams, like you said. Like I say, if y'all put your name in there, we can shout y'all out. We only see Facebook user. I know on my page it's probably showing your name, but I can't get on the page right now. But oil money, like you said, yeah, yeah,
big
big
time.
time.
So yeah, they killing it. So and they in a position now where nobody can even catch them.
Nah,
So I was
oh no.
watching the All American Bowl today, which has all the high school,
Mm-hmm.
the top high school players that get invited to play that game, like an All Star game.
Yeah, yeah.
They were talking about on there. They had got a couple more today, and they were like, with those recruits, with those commits, like nobody can catch them. Not even Alabama, not
Mm-mm.
even Georgia. Like that's how far ahead at number one, between number one and number two and three it is. It's crazy.
It's crazy. It's
So
gonna change the whole college landscape. Like I say, this the A&M, like I say, first year of like just benefiting. But if they continue to stack classes on like this, oh,
yeah, yeah, and to go back a couple years, that's why that coach used to be at Florida State, and that's
yeah,
why he left.
because they
Because Florida
wasn't.
State wasn't willing to drop that bread into the
Mm-hmm.
program. They didn't want to build a new stadium. They didn't want to do nothing. So, you know what I mean? Just, to go back and remember, that was a thing. Like people were like, he ain't gonna leave Florida State for Texas A&M. I'm like, y'all don't understand how much money is at play here.
It's a lot of money. Shout out Michael Buchanan. Michael Buchanan said if the Texas schools continue to do that, it's going to be hard to compete for the rest of the SEC. Yeah, true indeed. Not just for the SEC, the whole college landscape, because there's not too many places, especially Midwest West, that got the money Texas got.
Yeah,
So Big Ten last national championship might be in their last one.
man,
Especially
it's gonna be tough.
Yeah, especially with the dynamic of Michigan, which we know Ohio State probably gonna jump in there. They're gonna be a player in that game,
Yeah,
and Michigan State trying to, but money wise, it's gonna be tough. We know we got some billionaires behind us, um, but with Michigan, it's a death fight. I feel where if they go the wrong way for Michigan, they could be the end of Michigan, football wise, because I think they provost, they president, they all fighting against it, and Harbaugh kind of hate them. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
And from my understanding of what I read through some Michigan sites earlier, just to get more understanding of it, Harbaugh, he wasn't getting like NFL wasn't just calling for him. He reached out to the NFL to draw more interest to him. But he also donated like $2 million to a fund because his salary was cut in half. So he calculating beforehand. And I can see the mind. You know what I'm saying? When I'm reading it, I'm thinking about what he's doing. Now his salary was cut in half. Just before I think the end of the season, he donated $2 million, and he reached out to the NFL, which like Jeff said about the Chicago Bears, uh, um, and the Raiders, because Harbaugh has this thing where he don't want to be like with the 49ers. He wants full control. And ain't too
Right.
many NFL teams gonna do that. So
Right.
really, he not trying to go to the NFL. He trying to put up a hard bargain for him, but he trying to leverage Michigan and say at the same time it ain't about money. For me, you need to step up with this NIL program, or otherwise, yeah, I'm gonna go.
Yeah, and I really don't blame him because, you know what I mean. And as much as it would hurt, I understand because if you want Harbaugh to compete at that certain level, you got to have
Mm-hmm.
tools to compete at that certain level. You know what I mean. I posted in Sports Talk earlier, and I made a comparison. It's like you can't expect the top chef
Oh yeah,
to
yeah, I
compete
see that. Yeah,
with
I'm
an
going
easy
down with
bake
that.
oven. It don't work like that. Like, you know what I
What you
mean?
say, an
Like they
oven?
got a whole commercial kitchen over there, and I got an easy bake oven, but I'm supposed to
Easy
compete with
bake.
them. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
it don't work like that.
No,
Like,
I don't.
no, he ain't gonna. You ain't gonna compete with that because, of course, the recruit's gonna be like, okay, school A got, they offering such and such, school
Yeah,
B offering such and such, and here you go. You just saying I'm gonna have a great academic experience and well, we a top, 15, 20 team. Okay, yeah. All
yeah.
right. Like,
It, it don't work like that.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah, you're on TV, but everybody on TV. Okay.
Everybody on TV,
So
internet TV.
you got to have some stuff to offer. Got to have
Exactly.
some stuff to offer.
Got to. Andreas said another good question. Shout out, Andreas. What up with you, bro? Uh, Matter of fact, let me see. If y'all get a chance to, y'all go ahead and check out that live waves for bro. Man, he developed his own app. Got a
Yes, sir.
team of cats working. So let me see if I can get that off of there. And y'all can see, I think the number should be on there. Uh, so y'all check that out. Headquarters, Detroit, Michigan, phone number there. So shout out to bro. You know what I mean? Y'all definitely go and check out that live ways out.
Yes, sir.
It's not a paid sponsor, nothing. It's out of love, man. He doing his thing to create an avenue. So y'all show love.
For sure.
For sure. But back to
Yeah.
that question. Let me see. Back to that question. See, another good question is how does the economy in Detroit going to affect NIL opportunities for the student athletes?
I don't think it'll affect it. NIL it ain't just limited to where you are. It's all about who's connected to the. You can get an NIL opportunity from pretty much anywhere that
Anywhere.
somebody
Yeah.
that wants to work with your program or with players. You know what I mean? It has nothing to do with number one with the school. The school can't
No.
be involved because the school is involved, and now you talk about Title IX, and what I mean, they got to offer that same thing to everybody. Like,
Yeah.
so school ain't in it. Like, no, it's
They help.
really, there ain't no strings. That's the thing, and I think
It
that's
ain't.
probably what Harbaugh is like. Like, look, there ain't no strings to this.
See,
Like,
and the problem, I'm not to cut you off, just the problem with that. Now, I'll give you one example, Andres. Tom Brady is in the NIL program for Michigan, which I think Kay McNamara got a sponsorship through his apparel
yeah,
through there. So Michigan's issue is they fighting or they don't want like the guys, even like the alumni, that just come in and say, okay, we're gonna give a NIL, we're gonna get this to your players. You know what I'm saying? And Harbaugh kind of wants them to welcome it a little more to like, you ain't gotta, what I'm saying, be like, okay, we gonna set you up with so and so. You ain't gotta do that, but don't get in my way.
right. Well, you know what I mean. I think he may be twisting their arm to do that too because that's what other programs do. You know what I mean? They have an NIL program
They're true.
where what I
Texas
mean,
in there
they got somebody that's running it, that's
running the
basically a
program.
conduit between the companies and the players. Like, you know what
Yeah,
I mean?
that's
They
true.
need to do it. You know what I mean? They need to do it. And if they don't, man, it's just gonna it, you know it's gonna hamper the program. Like, I hate us to go the way of Nebraska, but
That's what it's looking like, bro.
You know,
That's what it's gonna look like. That's how dangerous this whole situation, which is why the dynamic is so tough. Because it ain't just Jim Harbaugh where it affect where if he leave and now he got Michigan got to search for another coach. You got to get a coach now that comes in and says, okay, dang, the NIL program y'all still ain't gonna run though. And you want me to come in here and win?
exactly.
So if you run the coach off, and then how's it gonna be when you trying to get another coach? You just gonna say, hey, we Michigan. Come on in here. No, that's gonna be a
Right.
hard draw.
Yeah, it's gonna be a hard draw for the top coaches. So you know what I mean. Now you looking at second tier coach. Now you're looking at a coach without head coaching experience. Some coordinator that just want an opportunity. You know what I mean? Like you gonna lower the status of your program, and you know what I mean. I would hope that they don't do that, but you know what I mean. I can't say that they won't, man, because I know what Michigan is. You know what I mean? That Michigan is very elitist,
Yeah.
and they want academics to be the
Number
standard.
one. Yeah.
And those academic people, it's a clear divide. You know what I mean? And the people on the academic side, you know what I mean? They view themselves as a Harvard of the Midwest. So they like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like we tolerate sports here. Like they, you know what I mean? Like they don't.
They tolerate it. And
Yeah.
you said you hit it right on the head because that lead right back to Michael Buchanan. Shout out Mike when he said U of M have enough money, alumni, it could compete with the Texas schools. I have to admit, exactly, and that's why it's an interesting dynamic because they do have enough money. Just with the Miami Dolphins owner
Yeah.
Ross, they got more alumni, but Michigan ain't welcoming it. So
Right.
Harbaugh fighting. So if he got a fight, that show you right there. Even though they got the alumni, they got the money, they not willing. They don't want to. They say, "Hey, we are an academic school. We're not about football." That's how they feel.
Yeah. And and not only that, like he's also fighting, you know what I mean, for how they work the transfer portal.
That
Because a
too.
lot Michigan, you know what I mean, they are very strict. They barely let, transfers in. Like they let
Never have.
grad transfers in. You know what I mean? They got a degree from somewhere else. You know what I mean? But the kid that stayed at a school for a year and now he ready to go somewhere else. Like
Yeah.
them the ones that have a hard time coming in Michigan, and you know what I mean. That just severely limits who he could go after in the portal because everybody ain't a grad transfer.
Nah.
Like most of them aren't. Like
Some
grad
people
transfers are
transferring after a
very
freshman year.
right. It's freshman, sophomore. You know what I mean? Maybe is some of these cats then transferred a couple times. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. Yeah.
you know,
And they don't want to open
but
that
all
portal.
options ain't on the floor. And he like, you limiting my opportunities here. Like if I need a safety or I need a corner or something, like, it's gonna be and I can only look at the grad transfers. Like
Man, could you
I'm
imagine? Could you imagine the dynamic that the number one transfer in the game, probably the number one player in the NIL program, and all of these guys want to go to Michigan, but they won't allow them to? That's the kind of thing that he's fighting against. Like, man, what are y'all telling me?
and it's been a thing for years. That's one thing that actually predates Harbaugh. This has been
Oh yeah,
a
transfer.
thing.
Yeah,
Like,
Ben.
yeah, transfers very rarely even come to Michigan because of that, because of admissions.
Mm-hmm.
And it don't be the coach; it be admissions. He'd be like, "Hey, I want to bring this guy in," and they be like,
Nah.
"No, transfer. His transcripts ain't complete. Like, his class, he ain't take these class, that class. Like they be blocking.
Man, they
Like
be on
no,
ads. Yeah, they be, yeah. So
like
yeah,
that.
so
So
so if you don't understand that fight, that Michigan, and I'm a state fan, man, but I look at this situation and I'm like, I don't want to see that because I like good competition, and this guy
yeah,
like, I'm like, this is almost like a death blow. Like my man's, I think it was a Michigan post. He was like, man, y'all don't understand. This is a red alert.
it really is, man. And to segue, that's why that's why what's his name left Notre Dame, Brian
yeah,
Kelly.
yeah,
He
yeah,
he ran into the same thing. You know what I mean? And anybody knows Brian Kelly, like, back in his Grand Valley days, Brian Kelly recruit hood players. Like, and they ain't gonna always have the grades, you know what I mean? But they'll be, they'll qualify, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they ain't on the dean's list, you know what I mean? So in Notre Dame of the same ilk, that
Yep.
way. They like, nope, nope,
Yeah.
nope. And he
They
like, you
fighting.
know what? I'm going to LSU. They let everybody in, so I'm out of here.
And that's what's messed up, because you think about how they fighting it right now. Just think 5 years down the line or 10 years down the line, if they say, okay, man, we give up. You too far behind now almost.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a line they got to draw in the sand. You know what I mean? It's now or never.
Yeah.
It's now or never.
Exactly. And like we said, if y'all don't know the NIL program, like I say, is just like Michael Buchanan was saying, that Michigan has the money. Michigan State has the money. Every school has the money, not the school, but the sponsors, the people they done put in the NFL, the people they done put in college. I mean, different kind of businesses. Like Michigan State, for example, you got Dan Gilbert, you got Ishbia, you know what I'm saying? You got some billionaires. You got like, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 billionaires. And if they say, hey, man, for the whole football team, we want to give a $15,000, you know what I'm saying, to all of them. That's kind of like the NIL. That's kind of in a nutshell, is they giving money to play on the team, almost to say, to help. So I don't know the A&M's dynamic. I don't know what's going on with A&M, but I would say it got to be something
doing
great.
something.
Because if you know the NIL program, it done changed A&M's whole outcast of college football in 1 year almost. This ain't just
Well, I
with the
know.
#1 recruiting class. They rankings gonna be higher. They finna bring in more money. Their attendance finna raise. Football attendance. It's gonna boost their program tenfold.
Major.
Major.
It's I know Texas A&M, and I think Texas, like they so cold with it, man. They've created non-profits. They got players that get set up with LLCs. You know what I mean? So they don't even pay no taxes on the money that they. You know what I mean? It's crazy. It's crazy,
Man,
man. But it ain't no strings. And I'm pretty sure that's what
they gonna do
Harbaugh is saying.
something.
Like, look, y'all scared. I know we done been through the Fab Five stuff, and you know what I mean. I think that's a lot that plays into it. Like,
Yeah.
the leadership. They like, we ain't trying to go down that road again. And he like, look, it ain't
It
it ain't
ain't
no
illegal.
strings. Like, you stop being scared. Like, come on,
Yeah,
let's do something. Like, we got to,
exactly.
because these other schools is doing it. Like, they getting their closest alumni, and they getting businesses that are connected to their programs. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Former players. Like you said, Tom Brady. Did his clothing line and got some cats on. They can do way more. They can do
Way
way
more.
more. You got Stephen Ross. You got, I forget the guy's name that
Oh, you got
that
some
in,
billionaires in there.
yeah, you got some cats that invented Google. You know what I mean? That's
YouTube
connected
and
to Michigan. Like, come on, man. Like, you can do way more.
do
You do way
way more. They could be right there with A&M if they wanted to. Like Texas, they can shoot over. They can damn near shoot over Ohio State if they wanted to take advantage of this program.
this opportunity to do it.
Yeah, you
This
know.
opportunity.
But like I say, that's an interesting dynamic. We ain't gonna spend the whole show on it, but that's just a very interesting topic and something to look for, because I don't think this the last you're gonna hear of it, especially with Harbaugh. Because
No, until he signs on a dotted line, either way, it's just kind of out there. You know what I mean? And so I think between the NIL, between the transfer portal, and I think he also wants a little bit more money for his assistants. Like, he
yeah,
wanna
yeah,
he wanna open up that pool as well as the analyst pool. That
mm-hmm.
he want more money for that. Like, I think they at like 3 million right now. He wanted to be a little bit more, because the bigger programs, they had 6, 7 million. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So he
mm-hmm.
just want to get on the same level. Like, hey, you want me to compete with them? Like, look at what they doing, and at least let me match what they doing. At least try to match what they doing, make it comparable or something.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
if not, you know what I mean? How can you hold me to a standard and you got one hand tied behind my back? Like,
exactly. And this is
can't do it.
and he know this is the best time to do it right now. You just went to the Final Fours, the playoffs. You ain't got as much. You ain't gonna never have as much leverage compared to right now. If this
No.
continue on where you can't get in the game, so you got to do it now. So Michigan fans, if y'all hearing about Harbaugh leaving and y'all like, oh, he ain't going nowhere. This ain't like the other times. There's a lot of dynamics in play right now. It's a battle. If he loses the battle, that could be the nail in the coffin. Because, like I say, if he leaves, now you got to fight for another coach to come in, knowing he gonna be behind the 8 ball or behind the game of other colleges, and you still gonna have that standard that you want him to play up to, while not giving him that standard that's going on right now.
Right. And that ain't. I don't think he's not gonna come back unless they up the ante. If they don't, you know what I mean, he'll dip out.
Yeah,
And I think at that point, without saying it, point blank, you kind of know what happened. You know what I mean?
yeah.
If he end up in Vegas, we know what happened. We know what
Mm-hmm.
happened. Somebody told this reported that he's not on good terms, like with the regents
No,
and
oh
with,
no,
what I mean. All of them are
he
like,
beefing with them
nah, we
all.
we don't need to do all of that. Like, you know what I
Yeah,
mean. So he like at odds with them, and I think we're still looking for a university president. Like the current one is on his way out. So you got that dynamic. It's
it's a lot
it's
of
some
dynamics.
dynamics at play.
Yeah, and like, what up, bro? Michael Buchanan said, "What a difference a few years make." We were saying how much the staff was making at U of M. Now it's not enough. I mean, I sort of agree, and I don't, because as a state fan, of course, we joked about it, but we got Mel Tucker, and our staff been going up, so it's not a question of it's enough. You got to remember, Harbaugh took a pay cut. I think in half. I ain't for sure, but he took a
Yeah,
half a pay cut.
they basically shifted his contract. You know,
Yeah, he gets some
it
other
wasn't
things under the.
necessarily it was a pay cut as far as the base salary.
Yeah,
Like they basically shifted. Like, okay, you ain't gonna make 7 million base salary. You're gonna
yeah,
make 3.5, and
but
you can make back up the 3.5 if you win the Big Ten, if you go to the playoff. Blah blah blah. They basically shifted it around.
yeah.
So when he
So
did win the Big Ten and when he did go to the playoff, they threw that money back to him, and that's the money that he said, I'm gonna give it to the staff and
yeah,
the people that
and,
lost money during the pandemic.
and
So
see,
it was
and
it
and
was a
and
negotiating thing.
and no negotiating, but this situation right now is not about the more money that he get, or that he wants more money for his assistant. And in fact, he took the pay cut. He actually donated $2 million of his pay to some program. I forgot what it was. So he's not saying that he did that in a way to battle Michigan in case Michigan says it's about the money. So his battle is, if you see his dynamic, he already plotting and planning in case they say, "Oh, here go 5 more million, man. Shut up." No, he like, no, I don't. It ain't about that. I just donated $2 million. I took the pay cut y'all gave me. My assistant did. It ain't about that. Give me the NIL program. Help me with transfers. This, that. Not just throw more money at me. So that's why I just say it maybe not agree, because it's not about he want more money. He want Mel Tucker money, or he want more for money for his assistant. That ain't the battle he got going on right now. In fact, it's the opposite. His
Right.
battle is, here, take that $2 million. Here, I took your cut. Man, I need these things.
Right. And then, that's just a year to year thing. I mean, that the salaries are just going up.
Oh yeah.
So,
So he
you know
know
what I
he gonna
mean?
get
When the
it
salaries
eventually.
go up, the amount that you have to pay your staff gonna have to go up. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? You got coordinators that's making, damn near $2 million. So
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know that's just going up anyway. Like you'll see that just going forward. Next year, you know what I mean. Like you had Tucker that got paid this year. You had Franklin that got paid this year. You had a couple, and they had 100 million. You know what I mean.
Man.
Next year, you know what I mean. Somebody gonna go above them. That's just how it goes. Like whoever whenever your contract come up or whenever you can renegotiate, you know what I mean? Like,
It's gonna go up.
it's gonna go up. The next,
Yeah.
the
And
next big thing, hell, Ryan Day probably gonna get a
they
raise.
all gonna keep
You know what I
going
mean?
up.
You know what I
And
mean?
Harbaugh know that, you know what I'm saying? And they go back to what bro was saying, back in the days, we was talking about, like he said, we was talking about how much they was money in the staff. Right now, everybody talking about Michigan State and how much our staff make. But like I say, the game keep changing, and Jeff was talking about the money keep raising. You know, you don't see an end right now. But
You don't, because it's like a money pit. You know what I mean? Like you
it's
ain't
a
gonna
money
see.
pit. It's a money pit, and then you got to look at it as the coaches is raising. Michigan State is above the curve. They like, hey, we got our coach, we making this money, and we joining in with the NIL program. Come on, our players finna make money, so we all good. I ain't complaining about us. I'm looking at these Michigan cats like, dog, y'all tripping.
Yeah, because and the thing about it is, the funny thing is, I mean, you think a couple years back, people was like, man, Harbaugh makes so much money. Now he ain't even in the top five. I don't even think he in the top five in the league.
No,
Like
no, he ain't.
that's how how quick it changed. Like, the next person that's in line to get a raise, they gonna raise the bar. You know what I mean? In a couple years, people ain't gonna talk about Tucker contract.
Oh no, a couple
He
years,
is
no.
gonna be regular. You know what I mean? Like, they gonna be like, 10 years, 100 million. That's a bargain.
Yeah.
2 years from
And
now.
we said that's what we were saying. You know what I mean? As far as Michigan State, I don't mean to jump that topic, but since we talking about it, and Mike, that's my fellow Spartan. Man, like I said, we all right over here. We feel like okay. You know what I'm saying? Our coach and a lot of people, and me and you, Jeff, had that disagreement as far as that way back about being able to afford it. And we was going back and forth in sports talk about it.
Yeah, yeah,
but if you got them sponsors and them donors, like I say, you got Draymond Green giving money. You got more NBA players being produced. You got you got Isbia and all these man. We got Dan Gilbert. You know what I'm saying? You got these cats willing to help with the program and help fund the colleges. I mean, help fund the coaches. Then the college, it looks like they the ones paying, but they not. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
They not the ones. So Michigan State don't really have to be the super program to afford these things. They got people they done produce that's helping them with it, which is gonna help raise their program and they standard. You know what I'm saying? So when you look at the totality of it, it all got to work together. And if you raise the money in these major sports, which we all know, football and basketball are the producers, it's gonna help the sports below them. You know what I'm saying? So that's the main thing. If you start destroying those programs, the football and the basketball, and that's the dynamic that's included, is how would the trickle effect fall? As far as when you talk about Michigan, you know, how would the trickle effect of the football program be? You talking about a program that's getting 100,000 people in the stadium easily. How would that affect the standard or the attendance if the 100,000 dropped to 80, where they like, man, Harbaugh gone, we can't get the NLI transfers. I mean, we can't get the NLI players, we can't get the transfers. We watching Michigan State come up, we watching Texas A&M, Ohio State. Then you got to think of the dynamics. Like, now, what if everything start crumbling for Michigan?
Right. And that's very much a possibility if they don't get in the ball game. You know what I mean? You can't afford a situation where, you let him go. You're gonna have a dip. And then even if you a couple years down the road you try to correct it and say, you know what, we was wrong about him. You know what I mean? So now we got to get in the game. You know, it's too hard to recover. Like, we seen it just with Harbaugh, just from the Rich Rod and the Hoke era. Like, people giving him a hard time about not getting to a certain standard. He like, dog, when I came here, know what I mean? People was, they was giving tickets away with Cokes. Like, what you talking about?
Yeah, I remember.
Know what I mean? So he looking like, y'all want me to correct all of that in 3-4 years. Like, come on now. Like, I walked
work
in the
with
door at
me.
110. Next year after that, I 110 again. Like, and people were still like, "Well, he losing Ohio State." He like, "Look, dog, like, like work with me here,
Work
work
with me.
with
Work with me.
me." So
It's a whole crazy game. Like you say, bro said, Michael Buchanan said, I appreciate that MSU is in a good place, but I hate the fact that the NIL takes the pressure off the schools to compensate the kids. I don't know, bro. I mean, I would take Michigan State, for example. This was me and Jeff was talking about at that time about we had closed a couple of programs, sports programs. The schools, this is a way to help the schools because even though it seems like they bringing in a lot of money, you also got to remember that they paying for a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? They paying for the buildings, they paying for the help the team. So it looked great, like they got millions, but they can't pay each kid. So it does take the pressure off, but it's a needed pressure because if you ask the schools to do this without the NIL or without alumni and donors, if you ask a school to do that alone, it could be
they wouldn't be able to do it.
catastrophic, especially for Michigan,
They wouldn't
especially
be
for
able to
Michigan
do it.
State. Huh?
They wouldn't be able to do it.
Wouldn't be able to do it. Michigan State would
Not to
crumble.
the level that they need to. And then, again, if the school is the one paying, then Title IX comes into play, which is the law that says they have to offer those opportunities fair and across the board,
Fair across
male,
the board.
female. So they would have to pay every athlete
Every
by
athlete.
law. They would have
I
to
don't
pay
care if they playing cricket.
everyone. Yeah.
If they playing cricket, they got to get paid.
Exactly. Every athlete, male, female, whatever sport, even the non-revenue sports, they would have to pay them too. So this way, it's more like an Olympic model. Like you can make what you can what based on the interest that you can garner. Like so, the school ain't picking and saying, "Hey, we gonna pay the quarterback $500, and we only gonna pay the offensive tackle $100." You know what I mean? It's out
Yeah.
of their hands, which to me is the best case scenario. It's all
Exactly.
about, hey, you know what I mean? What kind of attention, it's up to the company to say,
Yeah.
hey, you know what I mean? We want, the quarterback to represent our company and we're going to pay him X amount of dollars. And
Exactly.
hey, you know what I mean?
So
They're picking based on who can generate some money for their company.
for
So
their company, and
that's it.
that's what a dynamic playing. Because if you think about it, football and basketball are the top two money generators, and we look at how much money they make. But it's like 26 or so other sports going on. So if you say, "Hey, we're gonna pay women's cricket, we got to pay them now the same," and they losing money, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Then they taking from the football program money. You know what I'm saying? They taking from the basketball program money, and now they try to divvy it up
Right.
between
Even
all of
more than
these
they are
programs.
already.
Yeah, more.
Because
Yeah,
the
way
football
more
and the basketball programs are paying for their programs
already.
to even exist. So
Exactly,
now
and
we got to pay them money on top of already paying for their program. Like it's a net loss.
it's a net loss. And like with Michigan State, we had to stop. I forgot what it was, 2 or 3 sports programs where we couldn't fund them. So it was like, I think that's what me and you was talking about, Jeff, at that time is, how you paying your coach more money, but you're still canceling programs.
Yeah.
And we had a battle about that because it's like, hey, we ain't gonna worry about them other programs right now. We need to do this to help raise money to fund those programs. Now just imagine if the players had to be paid with the NIL or them donors and sponsors didn't give that money to Michigan State. We'd be closing more programs than just that.
Right. Yep. So yeah, this NIL is really taking it out of their hands, which it should. And it's just like I said. So it's basically the Olympic model. Like like Olympic athletes can get sponsorships and things like that, and that's how they fund their career. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And that's
yeah,
basically what college players are able to do with name, image, and likeness. That's NIL for short. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Uh,
yeah. Well,
and
we
that's the
definitely
best way to go, I think, because now what I mean. It's all about really it's about the player and what they do on the field and what kind of notoriety and what kind of energy they can put out there, and if they're marketable,
Then they go
somebody's
to
coming.
sign. Exactly.
Somebody's coming.
Somebody coming. And we appreciate that, Michael Buchanan, man. Them some good questions, you know what I mean, that need to be answered. So,
For
each
sure.
one of them was a good question. You know, it's still gonna be a lot of questions because the NIL program just kind of getting its footing.
Yeah,
Me
it's gonna level
myself,
off too.
huh?
It's gonna level
Yeah,
off a
oh
little
yeah,
bit. Like,
yeah,
and I think you're gonna see, some adjustments. Like you saw,
yeah.
old boy, the quarterback that went to Ohio State for $1 million and then he jetted out of there. So they gonna put something in place like, okay, we're gonna have to make these cats sign a contract. If you don't stay here, you don't get the money. It's gonna be some leveling off and some adjustments going
Yeah, oh
on.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, sooner or
So
later it's gonna be some other. I think they're gonna add some what they call amendments or some addendums.
oh yeah, they gonna add some stuff. You know what I mean? They're gonna add some stuff because you're gonna, we kind of just, we breaking the ice, like we going through it. This is the early stages of it, and they getting the kinks out. So
Mm-hmm.
so now cats, I think, a lot of these companies just, they happy to be able to connect with college players because they haven't been able to do it before.
Yeah,
So now they like, hey, you know what I mean? Let's sign this cat to a deal. Let's get these cats on, and then, you know,
yeah,
some of them getting taken advantage of. So,
yeah.
they're gonna figure out a way to clean it up for sure.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's gonna, like I say, with most new rules, especially, it's gonna take something where somebody done undercutted the rule that they say, oh, wait a minute, nah, hold on. And as soon as that come, you're gonna see more things that kind of stop people. But right now, currently at its mode right now, if you look at it, do research or check out Texas A&M. Like I say, I think they running the program to the fullest right now, over anybody. And I think other schools are looking at them like, wait a minute, man, how y'all okay? Oh, and they gonna start saying, oh, okay, uh, 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 and that might be when the NCAA jumps in and say, oh, wait, let's stop this. We gotta add this in, and we gotta add that in, and you know what I'm saying. So it's still in its infancy stage.
For sure, for sure.
Yeah, but we're gonna change up topics on that. It was a good conversation on that. It's a lot to that, man. It's a whole, it's a
Yeah,
whole
it's
lot to
layers to that for sure.
that. To show. We're gonna change up to another topic. If y'all, like I say, if y'all got a topic y'all want brung up, just go ahead and put it in the comments, man. And we rocking with y'all, so let us know what y'all want to talk about too, not just what we talking about. So we'll read the comments, and we shift up. It's live, so we shift up and adjust to the comments. Um, uh, uh, Thing going on with sports talk. Sports talk got a lot of things going on right now. I've seen a couple posters be posted, so
Yeah,
they still
yeah.
banging in there.
Okay.
But what you think about the Michael Porter Jr. situation, or the thing about his dad killing a 14-year-old girl, and the announcer used that in a sports environment as he was shooting a three or made a three. You know, I think with me, I think you probably feel the same way as out of line.
Big time out of line, man. But I think and this ain't the first time that an announcer then let something slip out. You know what I mean? But it's bad every time, and it's over the line every time, man.
Yeah.
You go back to old boy that called the Rutgers girls, nappy head. You know what I mean? Like, you have a long history of cats that just don't know how to hold their tongue. They racism slip out.
Yeah,
So
they got an
this is
agenda.
yet another, example of that. And you know what I mean? I know that LeBron called for him to be fired, and
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
kind of the kiss of death right there, because
Oh yeah.
LeBron still, even at
He power.
37, yeah, that's
He still
yeah,
got
he
that
got
power
that
in
type
the
of
NBA.
power. So more than likely, you know what I mean. If
Yeah.
he gonna get his walking papers, and he should. You know what I
Oh yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
he's
yeah,
supposed to have a certain level of professional decorum on the air. You know what I mean?
yeah.
You say that in a bar or something, man. You do that on your own time,
But
but
you
you on
just
the
said it
air.
to millions of people just saw it because they've been playing it over and over.
Man.
It was trending. So it wasn't just at the game that they heard it or during the broadcast of the game. It's still living right now
Oh
after
yeah.
he said it. So
Yeah,
I
these
mean,
days, it ain't back in the 70s and 80s where everything ain't viral. Like if you're
yeah,
on the
yeah.
air, even if you're on a regional network, you know what I mean, and you do something like that, it's gonna go viral
Oh yeah.
because somebody gonna roll that tape back and they're gonna record it. Shoot, people record stuff with their phones. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You can screen record with an iPhone or with what I mean, and next thing you know, tweet, Facebook, whatever,
It's
it's out
everywhere.
there.
Yeah, it's
IG. Hey, listen to
everywhere.
what this dude
Re-edit.
said.
Re-edit just going finna have a field day. So yeah,
Oh
it's
man, you know what
everywhere.
I mean? It's out there. And once it's
Yeah.
out there, you know what I mean? You subject to whatever the public gives you.
Yeah.
And
And that's crazy, because words are powerful. And that's gonna be the ultimate thing of power that you'll see in a way that this man career of his mouth overstepping what he supposed to said, his career in jeopardy, family. You don't know how people been probably calling him. Man, that one word, them one word that he reflected and let out of his mouth for that couple of seconds is gonna be a long lasting effect on his whole rest of his life.
oh yeah, he probably done in that arena. You know what I mean? Hopefully you know, he can go get a regular job somewhere. You know what I mean?
Man.
But his time on the air is probably done. You
Oh
know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah.
And it's unfortunate, but you know what I mean. It's kind of I think it's a different pressure for them. It's kind of we're in that space now where everybody they're looking to go viral.
Oh
You
yeah,
know what I
yeah,
mean? They're
yeah,
looking
yeah.
to put a one liner together, and that was probably his mentality. Like, you know what I mean? I'm gonna create a one liner that's gonna get played on ESPN or something. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
and that's also the plus and the minus of the social media era
Yep.
because if he play it right, it's a faction of people that's gonna support him, which is crazy, but
Yep.
it's true. We
Yeah.
done
He
seen
gonna
it,
get. That clip will be replayed. You know what I mean? Which would put his name out there. Like, man, who came up with that clever line? You know what I mean?
and there's some
And
people that don't like. They might
yeah,
not like her. I hate to say it, it might be some people that don't like a certain faction of people that might get behind him and say, "Hey, we riding with him because we done seen it. We done seen it where it's like they turn it into from a negative and they use it to rub it in your face. Like, yeah, we just signed him, and yeah, he said, "Fuck y'all."
right, right. Yeah. So it's kind of how it is now. You know what I mean? But hey, like I said, with LeBron, coming out and saying, "Hey, that dude should be fired."
Yeah,
Like
NBA
that was
wise, he might be done.
inappropriate. He maybe somebody locally he can go home and he can announce some high school games or something, but where he can be kind of below the radar. Ain't nobody gonna really bother him they ain't gonna really be mad at him for being on the air locally, but
Exactly.
yeah, he done with whatever network he was on for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, yeah. I think so too. Um, we gonna change up before we lock off of here. Got a couple more minutes. Um, we gonna go back to what we was originally talking about at first, the NFL playoffs.
Okay.
You know, uh, right now I know the game. I didn't see who won between the Kansas City game. I ain't for sure, but if you can let them know, um, the playoffs have started, so it's finna get heated up, and we all know it's finna be some good games. I mean, if you've been
Yeah.
waiting for the playoffs, this is the time. So you're gonna have some good matchups. You're gonna have some drama, because we already got the drama.
Yep.
uh, with the NFL playoffs being where they at, I think overshadowing it a little bit is the AB situation. And I seen him on a podcast where he was saying about Tom Brady and saying if him and Tom Brady was really friends, he'd be getting money. You know what I mean? Why should he have to get himself on a prove it deal? I think he was talking about at the time that he was the top wide receiver. This, that. Uh, his mind state, I ain't for sure on, but I pray for the brother. But what's your kind of view of that? Because I seen you posted one time about mental health. Um, and do you think this is just a mental health situation? Maybe it could be ego situation. It could be he right. You know what I mean? Which one you on?
I, I'm with it all. I feel like, this type of situation, man, like it has layers to it.
Yeah.
Like, you have some people out there that feel like, because of his antics, because of the things which he's done some things, you know what I mean?
Oh
Like he
yeah,
ain't no
yeah.
choir
All the
boy. He's
time.
done some things. And, I guess I'm not an all or nothing type of dude. Like
Yeah.
I choose to look at things, in layers. Like I can say that, yeah, he does some stupid things.
Mm-hmm.
And then I could also say, okay, he's done those stupid things, but he's right on this particular thing. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like you shouldn't have to choose. Like we should be able to have a nuanced discussion about things. Like it shouldn't be, and I know that's the type of society that we're in now. Like
Right or wrong.
everything is hot
Mm-hmm.
topic. Everything is extreme. Like you either over here or you over here. Like we
Mm-hmm.
don't, there's layers to things. There's layers to life, and I feel like yes, he's done some stupid things with his court cases and making up fake vaccination cards and breaking up locker rooms and recording stuff in locker rooms after game. He done all kind of
He done done
crazy
all
stuff.
kinds of
So
things. Plus, it seems like he drop a music video every time he do something.
man, he done a whole bunch of crazy stuff. But I think specifically with the Arians thing and him getting cut on the sideline, I feel like he was right about that. Now, should he have taken it the extra step and gone and taken off his jersey and running on the field? No, he shouldn't have done none of that. Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, he was done wrong. You know what I mean? He should have, just chilled out after the game or whatever. In a press conference, he'd have been like, "Look, I got cut." You know what I mean? And, hey, you know
I
what I
just
mean?
don't believe that though.
I
That's the
don't
one I
know.
don't believe.
I don't,
That you
I don't know if he cut him. You know what I mean? And maybe, you're talking about semantics. Like, if he
Yeah.
did tell him he done, you know what I mean?
Well, you might say, yeah,
Does
you
that
might feel
mean
like
he's
that.
cut
Yeah.
necessarily? No. It just means that, hey, I
Done for the
intend
day
to
or
cut you. I ain't messing with you no more. Like, oh, you ain't coming in again. Okay. All right. We good from here. Like we done.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah, it could
that doesn't mean that you
miscommunication or
cut.
something.
You know what I mean? It's, officially, I don't even know if Arians has the power to cut players. You know what
No,
I
he
mean?
didn't.
I think, they do have a GM. So,
That's why he wasn't
uh,
cut till about a day or two later.
right,
What
right,
a team said it because it wasn't just about what Arian said. They might have said, "Hey, man, we ain't thinking about you. He playing."
right, right. And, and we'll never know it because we ain't got no footage. We ain't got no audio. You know what I mean? So, it's going
Yeah,
to be his word versus his. And
true.
ultimately, now he's cut. So it's a done deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
He can go
yeah,
on podcasts and talk about it all he want, but he ain't got no job. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So,
yeah.
but specifically what he said about Tom Brady, like, look, bro, like Tom Brady got you the best deal he probably could. Like,
I
the
mean,
ownership probably is like, we don't really want to deal with that dude. And like, he probably like, well, can you hook him up with a deal that maybe if he perform, he can get such and such. Like, it had to be some back and forth with it for him to even get you in the door. So,
exactly.
I don't agree with him saying that Tom Brady wasn't, his friend or whatever. Like,
Yeah,
clearly,
I
I
didn't
think
agree.
he looked out for you as much as he could to get you in
Yeah,
the door.
I agree with you on that because when I watched I watched a little snippet of the podcast, and I was like, man, why are you on a prove it deal? You don't understand why you was on a prove it deal?
The stuff you did before is why you want to prove it did.
Yeah, it's a reason, bro. I mean, you got to understand, go on and prove it. And then
Right.
they give you a multi-million-dollar deal after. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But at the time, if they wouldn't have said a prove it deal, you still would have
You
been
wouldn't
looking
have
for
no
a
deal.
job.
You wouldn't have no deal. I mean, you coming off a situation where you left the Raiders because you ain't get the right helmet. Like, come on, bro. Like, what you mean you ain't supposed to be on a proven deal? You know,
Go.
when organizations sign people, they assess risk,
Yeah,
and they like,
exactly.
is the risk worth the reward? And your
Exactly.
contract pretty much tells a story of whether the risk is worth the reward. Because if they
Yeah.
put very little risk into it, and if you play above it, then great.
Great.
If not, they ain't lose much. You out of there.
Exactly. So yeah, and that was one thing when I watched, and I just hated the fact that it seemed like he wasn't. I maybe I'm on the outside, but from looking at it on that point as a fan, I'm like, bro, you wanted one of your peoples or somebody to say, bro, it's a reason why they did that. Relax, you know what I mean? You ain't gotta be throwing your mans under the bus or them saying, forget y'all, I don't care, why am I on the proof? Bro, it's a reason. Just respect it. You know what I'm saying? You've been in the league, you got put out the league, and they got you a way to get back in. Go ahead and just keep rocking with it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Instead of saying, hey, I'm the best on the team, I'm the best wide receiver, ain't no athlete out there better than me. They don't, man, it's a lot of cats that might be the best, but that don't mean that the team finna deal with them.
All right, exactly. You can be the best, and a team like Tampa Bay, who coming off a Super Bowl, they don't need you.
They didn't need
Like they ain't
exactly.
desperate. Maybe somebody else call you that's a little bit more desperate. Maybe the Jets or somebody call you. Like, they need to take chances on cats like him. Like they need a splash. They need somebody that
Exactly.
they can't normally get in normal circumstances. Like, you know what? We got to take the chance on him.
Yeah.
The Tampa Bay dump. They like, we got some cats. Like we got Evans and we got they got receivers.
They got
Like
receivers.
they ain't short on receivers, so they look like you
They
were a
just
luxury.
yeah, they
You
felt like,
were a
hey, this
luxury,
this could be this could help over the top even more because we need it because everybody getting better. Hey, we gonna get better. And it's like,
right?
oh shit.
Yeah, they were looking at like this is a luxury, and this could be a win for you because hey, you know what I mean?
You
We go ahead and we go deep into the playoffs, or we win the Super Bowl.
your name look
We gonna
better.
help reform your image,
Yeah,
and maybe you go get a big money deal somewhere else.
exactly. And it did, and it went the opposite.
Exactly. So I don't know. I mean, I don't agree with, and I think that's the ego part of it. Him going on, saying the things that he's saying. That's ego talking. Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you know what I mean. They played me, blah blah blah. Like, and he ain't my friend. Like, I don't know, but
Yeah, it's
I
a
I feel like it's gonna, once the playoffs hit, I feel like that story gonna be a done deal,
man,
and
and that's the crazy part about it because I know being a competitor that he is, I know it's gonna kick in to where he might say some things, but I know it hurt. You know what I
oh
mean?
yeah, it hurt.
It's gonna hurt. Especially when they start the playoffs and he be like, man, I'm supposed to be out there. You know
Yep.
what I mean? As a competitor, as an athlete, been doing this all his life. Now, not being able to do it, have to watch on TV or watch wherever you go, and to say, man, that supposed to been me.
Especially, and you was on a contender. It wasn't like he was on a
Yeah, as the playoffs
a
go.
middle of the road team. Like you rolling with Tom Brady. Like at a minimum, they're pretty much expected to at least be in a conference championship or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like so, yeah, he gonna watch them on TV. Like, dang, you know what I mean? But I think he's still got a little bit left. So come next season, somebody gonna give him another chance, man. Like, you see Josh Gordon keep getting chances, man. So somebody, if he make it to somebody camp. He showed that he still got burst. He gonna get another chance somewhere. You know
yeah.
what I mean?
No doubt, no doubt. Man, we gonna go ahead and end this live. We all over the hour, man. We appreciate y'all kicking it with us, man. It's been a lovely live. I think we had at least 10 or more people at one time checking it out with us. So we appreciate your time in this
For sure.
society. We know everybody, we always got things to do. We gonna bounce around. So you had time to kick it with us and you did. So we respect that and we appreciate it.
Yes,
Uh
sir.
Jeff, you got anything you want to leave them with?
Man, just want to say thanks to everybody that checked us out, that came on, that threw some comments our way, man. We appreciate all the love. I want to also point people back to Sports Talk, the actual group. Come kick it with us, man. We
Mm-hmm.
have a good time in there. If you can, what I mean, shameless plug. I put a link in there to a petition, and
Oh,
we've been battling to save the Saginaw High and the Arthur Hill Legacy, man. So you know what I mean. If you can, hit that link. We got a synopsis in the in the link that tells you what's going on. Doesn't take long to sign the petition. Literally a click. That's it. We appreciate the support, man. We trying to save our legacy, man, and appreciate everybody that's already signed it. I think we're at 800. We're trying to get to 1,000. Man, thanks so much to everybody, and thanks everybody for tuning in and kicking it with us on the show, man. We appreciate y'all.
No doubt. Hey, and we definitely want to say check us out. Thawed Magazine will be back in the building Tuesday at 7 p.m. Little Rock, Arkansas's own Pinky the Don manager. We're gonna talk business there. Then we'll be back on again Saturdays for sports talk. We got guests. We lining up some guests. So keep an eye out for that. We got we got 2 guests probably lined up right now. With a third on the way. So we definitely appreciate the rocking with us and the guests that's gonna come on, man. So definitely Thawed Magazine. We in our infancy and we still going. So support us because we ain't done. 2022, we rocking. 2023, we coming through. We coming. You know what I mean? So this just start. We ain't reached that yet. So
for sure.
But we appreciate y'all. We gonna say good night, man. Y'all enjoy y'all night. Salute.